Yeah. Nice. And close. Same thing. Oh yeah. That's right. Power Frunk in your Tesla. Model Y Juniper. Yes, in your Tesla. Finally get the feature that should have come with the car to begin with. I mean, come on, how much did you pay for this thing to not have a Power Frunk? Please. Kit is from Tesstudio. So we're gonna do the usual. I'm gonna do a little open box, tell you what all the parts are, and then really a full install. And my installs, I give you all the little tips and tricks. I tell you things even that aren't involved really with the kit, but in general, things that you need to do, whether you're installing this kit or other kits. Discount codes, Tesla Mark, you gotta use it. It gives you the biggest discount and works in all the best places. This thing is working fantastic. Whether you push the button in here or on the screen or on the app, it will open and close. There's people, I've read comments on other Power Frunks, and I've done other Power Frunks for my old Model 3, and they say, oh, what if you accidentally push the button while you're driving? Well, the button's not even available when you're driving. I don't know. I was out there driving this one around, and you know, you can't do that. You can't even do that. And yeah, Tesla is way smarter than that anyway, because they don't want it to happen. And until Tesla releases the hood, the Power Frunk doesn't do anything. There were issues with older kits breaking the frunk mounting point, and because Tesla was using, I don't know what kind of metal, but it just seemed like some kind of die-cast metal or something like that. That issue has been resolved, at least in this kit. They give an entire different bracket with a mounting point on there, so it's all reinforced. Install on the Model Y is a little more difficult than the Model 3 just because it is difficult to access the struts down here. And but again, I show you how to get in there better, better tools to use. It's not that bad, but it definitely adds some time. Install time, it's going to be a few hours. And I wouldn't say it's difficult, it just takes time. But anyway, I cover everything, again, full install. Is it safe? I don't know. No problem. All right, instructions, which you won't need because you got me. Let's see what we got here. All right, the power struts. This is what makes everything happen. 2 of these guys. All kinds of cabling. You know, I'm glad they put a fuse in here. There was a model that I did before, another install, and it did not have a fuse. And I don't know, not that big of a deal, but I didn't really like it, so I'm glad they started putting fuses in here. Yeah, a big wiring harness. We'll get into all of that. All right, this is the new power actuator. This is what's going to actually pop the trunk open. And this is an emergency latch in case you lose some kind of power or something. You're still going to be able to open this. Control module, the brains. Keep that in the anti-static bag. Okay, these are new mounts for the power struts. Now, some of the earlier editions of these kits, they were actually overpowering the mounts that Tesla was putting on their cars. I don't know what the deal is, what kind of metal they were using. It seemed like some kind of a die-cast metal or something, but it was possible to break these power struts here. We're breaking some of them. And anyway, the new revised kits, they give you stronger brackets and mounting points here, so that is great. And you know, some other mounting hardware here, some double-sided tape, probably to mount the brains here. Zip ties, nice. All right, let's get this on the car. All right, first thing is we got to remove the entire frunk. So this comes off first, and it's held down by a bunch of clips. Just pop those off. There's clips under here. Now we got to take this front panel off, and this just pries out. And lift that up, pull this out, and we need to unplug this. Now we have 4 10mm bolts here, 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 and here. These have to come off. Alright, now we can basically just lift this whole frunk out. Okay, just like that. Alright, now we've got to get this whole HEPA filter assembly out, and it looks like just these 2 bolts here. Again, 10mm. Yeah, that comes right out. Nice. Alright, be aware, these clips can just fall out, and if you see them around, just check the underside, know where all of them are. So like this one just fell out, just, you know, pop it back in here, no big deal. But when you take things on and off your car, sometimes these clips, they pop off, they get lost. Sometimes they break, and you can get them through Tesla, you can get them on Amazon, they're really cheap. But, you know, don't get overly concerned when these things break, or if you lose 1 or 2, it's really not that big of a deal. And again, you can replace them, no problem. All right, here we are in the frunk. The first thing that we need to do, if I can get some light down here, the strut is right here, and right down there we need to pop it off there, and then put that bracket down there. And I don't know, this might be the most challenging part of the whole install. We need to do it on that side also. There might be a little bit more room over there. I'll check. But yeah, it's a little bit tight here, but let's see what we can do. Since we're going to be taking off the hood struts, the hood will want to come down. We need something to keep it propped up. I've got an old mop that I used, no big deal. Just make sure you put whatever you use to prop it up, don't put it on like these softer spots here. You know, you don't want to dent the hood. The hood's really light. It's not that big of a deal, but you don't want to be banging the hood and with a prop rod thing and dent it. So, you know, put it in a more sturdy spot like up here or something. Just keep that in mind. All right, to get this a little bit more out of the way, take this off. All right, let's take the top off first, and you got to get like in there with a really slim screwdriver or something, and let me show you. Like the screwdriver or whatever you use has to not only be like sharper in order to get in there, but it can't be that wide, and I'll show you why when I get that out of there. All right, so this did make it easier. I don't want to lose that screwdriver that I was able to pry in there, but I'm putting my arm through here because through the top here the opening was just too small, and I just, you know, I kept getting it all scraped up. But with it like this, I can get the screwdriver down here and in the right angle, and then just kind of pull it up and out like that. So let me show you what this looks like. So you can see you've got to get it in that small channel there, and then basically just push it in, and it opens this up, and you can pull it out like really easy. Actually, just pushing this in there, it just kind of popped out like you saw. So that's the same with the top here, how that works. So not too bad, but you got to have a small screwdriver like this. Okay, now let's get this off of here. And that is a 13mm. I'm going to take that off by hand so I don't drop it. All right, we're doing the right side first, so passenger side. So this is right, this is the side that's up, and we use this screw here, and this is a 3/16 Allen socket, which will fit in there, and I think we're going to put it on the same way we took the other one off. So yeah, that's easy to put on. Tried to finger tight as much as possible. This might actually be easier with like a standard Allen key, but you don't get the ratcheting effect. Alright, I'm making it tight, but not like crazy tight. if that makes sense. Okay, these power struts are the same. There's no left and right. So take one of them, and this is the bottom here, and the bottom is going to go, you know, down there at the bottom. So we're going to just reconnect it back, and you can see there's already like some lube in there, and a little bit in there too. So get the wires out and ready, because they're going to be running through here. Right, that went on real easy. And then here we have to turn this a little bit. And I may have to bring the hood down. I think I'm going to have to bring the hood down a little bit just to line these up. Or can I? Yeah, I can't really pull that up, so. Yeah, let me bring the hood down a little bit to line that up better. Okay, so this part is a pain. So you have to twist it to line this up to be able to install it there on that stud. But as soon as you let go, it spins. So I need to use my other hand to twist it at the top, and it gets difficult to hold in this area here and also put it on. So I'm gonna have to put the camera down in order to get this going. So yeah, the issue here is that I got it on there, but the issue here is that there's so little clearance in there, you can't really get your hand around there to push it back that way and then pull it on. So I had to kind of hold it like this with this hand, and then I couldn't really, you can't really get your fingers on there to hold it, so I was kind of pushing down on it to keep it from spinning. Yeah, this is like, you know, a little bit more of a trick than I wish it was. It's just that it doesn't, when you spin it to line it up, it wants to spin back. And, yeah, it's difficult to hold. I guess probably if I had if I used like a pair of pliers or something to hold it in the spot there and then pull it from underneath, it would have been a little easier. But yeah, that's a little bit of a challenge. Surprisingly though, I did it kind of on the first try. All right, so really interesting. This one, when you spin it, it stays. I don't know if the other one was just in a weird position, but I would spin it and it would want to spin back. I don't know what the deal is with that. So anyway, here you can line this one up. Hopefully both of yours will be that way too, and you won't have to deal with what I just had to deal with. Okay, so I just got this side off, the driver's side or the left side, and to get the top off, it was kind of difficult based on just the angle of this from above. It was hard for me to get any kind of a screwdriver or anything into the top center, so I used this and pushed it into the side, like right there. And then once you just keep pushing it in and drive it and pull this clip back, that's really all you need. And then you can get your other hand in there and just kind of take it off. Surprisingly, it's a simple thing to do, and just based on the location, it just makes it like way more difficult than it needs to be. Not that bad, but you know, it takes a few minutes when it should take a few seconds. All right, this side went on basically the same as the other, just with slightly different challenges. Now, look, I didn't have any issues dropping anything back there this time, but get yourself one of these. This is obviously old and slightly repaired, but it's got a magnet on it, and so like if you drop any tools or anything anywhere, you can like antenna this thing down somewhere to pick up bolts and nuts and whatever you dropped. Super handy. I'll put a link to something like this in Amazon, but yeah, it would have been very easy to drop things down here. Like I said, I'm a little surprised I didn't. And yeah, it would be difficult to get them out just because the openings are so small. You can see it real easily, but it's hard to get your arm in there. Before you take this off, you need to mark where this is. Why? Because if this is off, your hood will not be aligned once it's shut. and you will spend a lot of time trying to readjust this to get the hood to line up where it used to be, assuming it was good to begin from the factory. So put some tape down. You could try to use a black Sharpie, but it's going to be a little bit hard to see. But if you've got some kind of a silver, red, I don't know, some oil pen or something like that, you can mark where this was so that you're going to have a much easier time lining it up when you put it back on. Once you get this off, take a good picture or video of where this spring is located so that you can put it back on properly. You do not want to mess this up, otherwise your hood will not latch and unlatch properly. Are all just a little bit different, so mine was different from this video too. Again, just a little bit. Okay, now that this is off, we are going to take this part here, and see this cable is underneath, and put this part, and it's basically just going to sit right on. It's basically just going to sit right on top, but this cable needs to go on the other side. So put the cable here like this, and then just kind of line up these holes here for now, like this hole and this hole, and then so now we've got to take this spring here. Let this go easy. Okay, and then this here, and then this has to go around here. All right, so this loop is going to go around here. Okay, around there. Make sure that the spring is still underneath there, holding these two together. Let's put the spring back. Okay, there, like that. Okay, now we can bolt everything back together. And actually, I pushed this down a little far and the latch closed, but I'll show how to get that back up, because we're not going to be able to close the hood with this up, or with this latch like this, but don't worry. So we line everything back up with our tape and then tighten it up. And it's not only up and down, it's left and right as well. I'm actually going to leave the tape on until like I am completely done and know that the hood is like lined up just right. All right, now we're going to run this backup manual opener through the front of the bumper here and out of this. All right, this super secret little opening, you've got to open this up by pushing here, and a lot of times you got to like pry it underneath here too. And these can help get you out of a jam. I've got a whole video I'm going to point to. This you can use to pop open your frunk in case of an emergency. You're going to need a 9-volt or 12-volt battery. I've got a whole other video on how to jump your Tesla, so check that out. But for now, let's run this cable through there and out here. All right, turns out, looking down here, it is very easy to see that opening. See that? All right, since I think this is going to be mounted back here, we're going to take this, loop it through here, feed it through here. Voila, easy. So now let's zip tie all of this together. Tighten that up. All right, let's start the wiring. And yeah, this does seem like intimidating, but The good news is none of the plugs are really the same, so you can't like cross them up or mess them up. It's just finding out where they go. All right, so I'm going to start with these two here. This is just like a pass-through for the existing pull motor here, the latch motor. Let me see if I can do this with one hand on the camera. All right, we unplug that, and you know, you can see, for example, these plugs are exactly the same. So, plug this guy in here, and then we plug these two together. Let me get both hands. Oh, no, oh, there we go. Look at that. If I can do this with one hand, anybody can do this with two hands. All right, next find this plug here. That goes into this guy here. This goes back in. This was the factory plug. And let me see, is it going this way? Yeah, this way. So to get this plug in, I had to basically push this out a little bit. And I had to push it like using a screwdriver. All right, next up you'll find these two pair of connectors, and these line up with the power struts. And the longer one let's use for this side, and the shorter one you use for this side, because we're going to put the brain unit kind of close to here, and that's where this plugs into. So otherwise, though, it doesn't matter. There really is no left and right. They don't do anything different with them. So let's plug these guys in, and I am going to run these cables kind of behind this duct here too. This plugs here. This plugs here. Okay, this one. Okay, these two go together. Right, we might as well do the ground wire here. This is 10 millimeter. You don't need to take that all the way out, just give it enough, just take it out far enough to slip this in there. Okay. All right, the power cord. This has a nice fuse in it. Is that 2.5 amp, I think? I don't think it's a 25 amp. Could be a 25 amp. This is a 25 amp. Anyway, if you have any problems with this thing not powering up or whatever after it's running, maybe it's run for a while and you're having an issue, check the fuse. What we are going to do right now is connect this part here to the power right here, the 16-volt lithium battery power. They left a nice convenient access point here. I really like that. And then later we will plug it in, or maybe I'll plug it in now. I don't know, but this is where it plugs in. But let's do this right now. So that they gave us a nut here that fits right on there. Super convenient. This. All right, we gotta like spread this open a little bit. Okay, let's see if I can spread this part a little bit. That was good enough. Just needed a little bit more room. Okay, this is a 13 millimeter. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of electrical tape around here because I don't like having an exposed like 16-volt source just kind of hanging out there. Could have run this maybe in the back, but then you kind of can't see it, and you might like hit it accidentally. And it's not a problem if you touch a 16-volt source. The problem is when you touch it with like a wrench or something and then you hit ground with it, like maybe you hit over here, then you're going to have a little bit of a problem. All right, 2 plugs are left over. This one would go to some kind of a buzzer thing, if I'm not mistaken, which this kit does not have. My last kit also did not have it, and I think it would just kind of buzz or something like that when the frunk was actually being used, you know, on-off kind of a thing, but whatever. This is going to the button in the frunk, which we will get to very soon. Okay, so now let's plug in the brain. Okay, the brain goes under there. Okay. I was waiting for a click. Now I think I'm going to tape this here eventually, but for now we are going to test it. All right, let's plug the power in. All right. All right, so I powered the car back up, and I swear to God, I think this is the octo valve. When this thing started up, it sounded just like the George Jetsons taking off. Oh, I wish I had the camera on, because it was like... Anyway, it was the funniest thing. Okay, if you remember, I accidentally basically locked this. So what I'm going to do now is unlatch it manually, and I think this should do it. It did. It pops up a little bit, I don't want to say violently, but yeah, it's spring loaded, so that's what happens. So now this is in a position so that this hood latch can go down there, trigger the power frunk, and then normally go in here and like do the normal thing with the latch and lock and everything else. What I'm going to do though, before we like test this electrically, that's going to involve actually plugging this back in here. This is the button to you know, if you get trapped inside the frunk, which, you know, as adults I'm sure that happens to a lot of us. But anyway, this button will actually trigger the frunk to go up and down. We can test that here, but before we do that, I'm going to set up a little manual pull string here so that just in case something goes on and this trunk locks down, we don't have to use that manual thing. We can use this little pull string that I'm going to attach right here. All right, so this is my little manual pull string, and just got it attached here to the string, and I'm going to leave this out, plug this back in. All right, I think we're set. Here it is, guys, the big test. All right, maybe it just needed to like sync up or something. Let me see what goes on now. There we go. Oh yeah. All right, here we are. Fairly neat. Got some big zip ties for this this motor here. Just wrapped it there. Zip tied most of this up. This is going to plug into that switch, and we've got zip tied here. This brain, I actually disconnected it and reconnected it like back up here, and then pushed it back down there. Used some of that double-sided foam tape that they gave us and taped it there. Could have taped it here, but like outside in this area, you're going to get a little bit more water and things, just, you know, from the environment. Up here it's a little bit more protected. You know, just zip tied here where I could. Nothing crazy, but just kind of kept everything just tucked. Didn't want everything kind of flying around, you know, nothing crazy. The things you want to avoid, like, actually I need to tuck this in here a little bit better. You got to be careful here. What I'm going to do is, I forgot about this, I'm going to put some electrical tape on here because this is sharp. These are like fairly sharp aluminum edges. What I was going to say here first is that the frunk actually bolts down here, so you don't want anything here. So like I have these wires here, that is a no-no. These will get crushed. So I'm going to put them there, but again, make this, or they could be zip tied. Actually, I might just zip tie them up here. That's going to be a better move. I'll zip tie them up here. Otherwise, there is actually a decent amount of clearance around here. That tub leaves a decent amount of clearance. It's a little bit surprising, but then down here you have like zero clearance, so keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm going to zip tie that back up, and then we're going to put the frunk and everything back in.